Welcome to the Google Drive Shared with Me training video. This video will specifically look at the Shared with Me section of your Google Drive. So you notice that I am in my Google Drive. I have my drive shown. You can see that it's shown because it's highlighted in red over here. I'm going to click on the Shared with Me. So as students, teachers, colleagues share files with you, they will appear in the Shared with Me section over here. You have the option to send an email when you share a file. You don't have to send an email, but it definitely is helpful letting the person know that you're sharing documents with them. So typically you'll get an email with information on that. And you can open up the files within that email, but they're also in the Shared with Me section. So if you ever need to go back to them, you can go back to those. I do have an untitled presentation shared from my other account. It is sitting here. If I highlight or click on that particular file, I can right click. If you're using a Chromebook, that's a 2-finger click. And you see that I have open with, and I can open with Google Slides because there happens to be a Google slide. I can go ahead and share this out with other people. I can get the link to be able to share that as well. And I can go ahead and add it to my drive. I do like to add items to my drive just so it's in mine instead of so I don't have to go to Shared with Me and locate it all the time. I can also add a star, which would put it into the starred category on your drive as well. You can rename it. Now, this will be dependent on the rights that have been given to you when it was shared, the permissions. So chances are you probably don't have the permission to edit it or edit the title, but you may. Depends on what the sharer has given you access to. You can make a copy of it, so now it becomes yours. And if I go ahead and make a copy, you see that the shared by over here it says shared by Jonathan Lee. Now I made a copy, and down here it gave me a little note saying it's in my drive. So I have to actually go back to my drive to see it. You can see right there it says copy of untitled presentation. And over here under owner it has me because I've made a copy of it, so it now belongs to me. So I'm going to go back to shared, go back to this menu, right clicking, and then the other option is you can download it, so you can physically put it on a machine of some kind, and then you can also delete it. Now if it's shared with you and you delete it from your shared file, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to delete it from the other shared file, so you don't have to worry about that. I would show you that part, but I am recording via a tab, so I'm not going to be able to go back to my account to show you that the file is still there. But it deletes from your shared file, not the drive, not the actual document itself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Add to my drive, and this little pop-up shows up, and let's say it's a presentation, so I'm going to put it in my presentation folder, and I can click on Move. If I don't have a folder that I like, I can go and add a folder right here as well, and I'm going to click on Move. And so I go back to my drive, I go to Presentations, and I will see that this presentation is here. The owner is still Jonathan Lee, so it is because it came from my account, and it was last modified by myself at 10/12. Okay, so that's in there. Going back to Shared with Me, if I refresh my screen, you should see that one and the other one that it was shared with me. So it does not actually leave your Shared with Me, which is kind of annoying because this gets really long and files are in here, and there's a lot of files that show up in here. I'd rather keep my Shared with Me page clean, but I can't do that. So I'm gonna click on Remove, and we'll see what happens when it happens. So it tells you down here that the file is still accessible by collaborators. So even though I have removed it from mine, it's still accessible by other people. Let's go into my presentations and notice that it is still here as well. So you can remove it physically from, I'm going to go ahead and restart this just to see if it stays there. I refresh this, sorry. And so it did stay there. So you can see even though that I removed it from my Shared with Me, it stayed, well, there you go, refreshed. So it did go away. Okay, so when you remove, that's what I was figuring it would happen. So when you click on Remove, it does remove it from your folders as well. So it is gone. So if you come in here, you can't, there's not really a way right now to go ahead and clear out your shared with me. It is going to get messy and long based on time and date. But you can move it to your drive so you don't mess with it. That's what I typically do, add it to my drive. Once you remove it in one spot, you move it from others. So keep that in mind as well. So that is the overall view of the shared with me section of your Google Drive.